Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and today we're looking at the Figma Todoroki from My Hero Academia. Now, this is the first figure in the second wave for My Hero Academia. Here, the first wave consisted of Midoriya and Bakugo, and they got a lot of flack for not coming with enough for the price. And it looks like the second wave is trying to come with more accessories to make it almost justifiable for their prices, but looking at the prices on this at like Big Bad Toy Store or eBay or whatever, they want $100. Plus tax, plus shipping. He's cool. I'm not sure if he's $100 cool. I mean, I spent it because I like these figures. But for the average consumer, for anybody who's just a casual Todoroki fan, is he worth the price? Personally, I say no. I think it's hard to spend $100 on a figure like this, but I do it anyway. But I will tell you, he is nice though. But let's take him out of the box. Let's take a closer look. And here is Icy Hot himself, Shoto Todoroki. Now, if some of you have eagle vision, you're probably like, wow, that is a nasty gash we got right here. What happened? So let me tell you a story before I go into this figure review. So I was trying to record my first attempt at this figure review probably a couple weeks back, maybe upwards to a month. I can't remember. The point is, towards the end of it, here I was trying to just simply bend his elbow this way, and it ended up snapping the joint in half. I guess it was just so tight, like in the peg holes, that it didn't give it much room to move, so it just snapped in half on me. So I had to do surgery, take the joint out. I also contacted Good Smile, and they want to send me a whole nother arm. Unfortunately, because of Corona time, that's not happening anytime soon. So I'll probably get that maybe next year if I'm lucky. So plan B, do surgery, take it out, and order a replacement joint. And if you look at the joint itself, it looks perfect. Like, it blends in just fine, and it only cost me like $7 or so for like a set of 5. So if it happens again, I already have another one ready. And to be honest, I'm probably gonna order more joints in case any of my other figures snap like that. So go China for making actually good parts, and it's actually really tight too. It feels genuine. It's fantastic. But anyway, with that out of the way, besides that little gash, let's just ignore that. Let's just pretend that doesn't exist. But other than that, how does Todoroki look? I mean, look at him. He looks amazing. When it comes to action figures, this is definitely the best looking Todoroki figure by far. He really looks like he just jumped out of the anime. I mean, look at that face. The face alone just says like how good this thing looks. Like, sweet lord. I mean, look at everything, even like the detail on like his costume right here. Like, honestly, I wouldn't have paid attention to that, but thank God they put it in. And then his little, whatever this is. Honestly, I don't even know what the point of this thing is. Is it insulation? What is it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But obviously, this is not up to date. It's not based on his newest costumes. Like, I feel like when it comes to the Figmas, they try to go for like a certain era. Even though this is not his first costume, it's like one he used for the longest time before they did the big change. So I'm fine with this look. I'm okay with it. But he's still by far like one of the best looking Figmas in the line. Personally, I'm more of a fan of Uraraka. That's because she's just my favorite. I love how she plays in the game. She's adorable in the show. And her figure design is actually pretty great for Figma. So, there, one of my favorite characters in My Hero. Todoroki, on the other hand, he's a good-looking boy. I'm not gonna lie. Now, my initial issue when it came to the My Hero Figmas was not just the fact that I didn't come with enough for the price, but the articulation was definitely hindered by their costume designs. And unfortunately, Todoroki has the same issue. Like his elbow bend, for example, you're only getting about like 90 degrees or so. Like, it's not going too far. But I mean, you can still get a lot of good poses out of him. It's just, I have a higher standard when it comes to these action figures, especially when it comes to like heroes like this. I want them to be more dynamic when it comes to articulation, which is why I love Amazing Yamaguchi so much. Then Midoriya was like the perfect figure. But articulation on this figure is actually pretty good, which let's get into that. I don't know exactly how the head works, but you can move that anywhere you want. The bottom of the neck doesn't move, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but he still moves his head more than what you need to do whatever poses you need. Elbows, they're going about up yay big, so you can do your T pose, and then you can move that anywhere you want. And I think it's a double ball peg, so you can move the shoulder really anywhere you need to, and it's a tight joint too, so be careful. Then you get your 90-degree elbow bend, and if you want to move that left to right, you can, but be careful because that's how mine snapped. Then a ball hinge at the wrist, so you can pivot that left to right. You can rotate that as much as you need to and adjust the hand that way. The ab crunch right here, you got a lot of movement in here, which I'm actually really impressed by. And then the crotch piece is actually a floating piece, so it tries to hinder articulation as less as possible. But to me, it ends up looking like a big diaper. So it kind of takes the aesthetics away from me, to be honest. He has a butt, but when it comes to the legs, you can go forward about that much, go backward about that much. He is action-packed. He is ready to go. Oh my god, I snapped him. Okay, pretend that didn't happen, but yeah, look at that split that he can do. This is actually probably the biggest split I can see out of any My Hero Figma that we've gotten so far. At least up to date, I guess. I don't know. The point is, this is a lot of articulation. This is really good. And then when it comes to the knee bends, you're getting beyond 90 degrees, so that's a good leg bend. Then we got a big fat ankle right there. We got a cankle right there. Go forward and back really well. And then that should also be on a rocker as well, so you can move that left to right if you need to. So the articulation is actually really solid. My only complaint is really just the elbow joints. Well, I wish they weren't so tight so they wouldn't snap the joints in half. But like other than that, like the 90-degree bend, it's a little bit of a bummer, but you can make do with it. You can still definitely do plenty of stuff with this figure. And again, the detail on this thing is absolutely amazing. Like, look at them shoes! Look at them boots. Now, I don't really see any, like, paint smudges either. Like, look at, like, the lining work around his collar. And then the line work around his little, whatever this thing he has on his back. I'm nervous about these things snapping off eventually. So I guess be a little bit careful. And sometimes when I'm posing him, like, I can never get his, like, diaper piece to, like, sit evenly. So you have, like, a giant gap on the top. And then it just lays crooked. Unless you're actually good with posing action figures, unlike me. So, who knows? Maybe you actually make it look right. Like, oh. See, now it looks okay. Okay, maybe it just made a liar out of me. I don't know. But a lot of the poses that I've done, it looks like a floating diaper that's lopsided. So far, he's better than, like, Midoriya or Bakugo. But, personally, he's not my absolute favorite when it comes to articulation. When I do my Kirishima review, you'll see why I like him a lot. But again, besides the elbows, he's a really good Figma. And the one thing that the older figures didn't do very well was accessories. So let's go over what he comes with and see what he has to offer. First, let's go over the faces. We got his neutral face right here, his angry face, and his smiling face, which, to be honest, I don't really know how to feel about. Then when it comes to hands, we got the standard fists, some gripping hands for some reason, some spread open hands, and a set of hands where the fingers are more posed and articulated. I wish there was a more like relaxed hand, but these will do just fine. But the hands that we have on right now, one of them actually is very useful when it comes to one of his pieces, which is the fire effect, which this snaps right onto his arm. There's a little bit of a open gap right in here, and that snaps right onto his arm and lines up with the fingers mostly well. There you go. As you can tell, it wraps around his fingers relatively well, and it fits on his hand really nice and snug. It's not going to fall off anytime soon. And it doesn't hinder the movement, obviously, because it just wraps just around it. So you can still do whatever you need to with his arm. And then we also get an ice piece that goes under his foot. You can see there's a little indent in there, and they tried to make that as thin as possible. But when you do stand him on it, you do got to mess with him a little bit so you can still stand upright relatively well. You can't see it yet, so we'll move it down. There you go. Oh yeah, look at that. It really blends in with the blue now, doesn't it? But there's both the ice and the fire. Yeah, icy hot, baby. And then of course he comes with a Figma stand, which I haven't even taken out of the package yet. And a Figma bag, in case you want to put the accessories in a baggie for some reason. Then when it comes to size comparisons, we got Midoriya and Bakugo, and he stands pretty well. I mean, he looks good. Here he is to Kirishima and Uraraka. Uraraka is a short girl. Kirishima is a little bit taller, but it's all made by Figma, so the scaling is taken into consideration, and so far it looks like they did a good job. I also have the Figma Midoriya as well as the Amazing Yamaguchi Midoriya, so you can see how well they all scale together. Unfortunately, the Amazing Yamaguchi Bakugo is not out yet, or even shown off or anything. But Amazing Yamaguchi is a good line of figures so far, so we may want to take that into consideration, so we'll see. And then we got All Might, who's still, like, gargantuan, but yeah, look at that. And one thing I forgot to mention during the review, I noticed if you lean him back too far, got a little bit of a gap right there. Yeah, that's not good. I don't like that at all. Putting it back isn't bad. It's just for some dynamic poses, like, it's gonna show up and it's just not gonna be good looking. So that's a shame. And also his back is also super exposed, but even then, like, we can hide that just by doing a turnaround. But if you're trying to do that, trying to make him go up and do stuff, yeah, that's not good. So overall, what are my thoughts on this figure? The figure does have its shortcomings, like with the 90-degree bends on the elbows and the gaps around his torso, but besides that, this is one of the best figures in the line. Also, the best Todoroki figure by far. If Amazing Yamaguchi makes one, then it would be definitely better, but he's both aesthetically pleasing, well articulated. He's just overall a clean looking figure. But is he worth the $100 though? It's tough for me to say yes. I mean, I still did it anyway, and I'm proud to have him. But that is completely up to you. If you really want it that bad, then go for it. He's probably going to go up in value over time, so I'd say if it's available, get him now. But this second wave of Figmas when it comes to My Hero Academia definitely do a much better job. I mean, it's still expensive. I still think it's hard to swallow, but it is still good. But if you don't want to swallow that $100 price tag, there is a Nendoroid for it, so you can get it for like 35 to 50 bucks. I forget how much it goes for. And that is a cute figure as well, but this is meant to be played, like, I can't say played with. It is meant to be posed. It is made to handle action poses. And if you really want to do that, then this is a perfect figure for you. It's definitely much better than the McFarlane one. The McFarlane one is butt ugly, but this one, it's expensive, but definitely good looking. And that's it for the review, guys. So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. As well as if you like these pictures that you see right now, I do pictures like this plus with other characters from My Hero or video game characters. Think of it, I've done a lot of action figure pictures. My Instagram will be in the description as well, so if you want to check that out, by all means, please give it a follow. And thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys to death. And I'll see you on the next one. And the next figure I'm going to review is Kirishima. So if you want to see that, subscribe. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Peace, peace.